The number one thing that successful entrepreneurs are doing that the less than successful entrepreneurs are not doing is managing their time well. I remember when I was in practice a few years ago and I was doing everything myself and I had a little bit of success. I had some money. I had things working on paper. I felt fucking busy and I felt fucking exhausted and I could not figure out how I was supposed to achieve more success. I looked at Beyonce and I was like, how the fuck does she do as much as she does? Because we have the same amount of time in the day and she is making just a little bit more than I am. Maybe a lot bit more than I am. But listen, if you are not buying back your time, you are not doing what 99.999% of the wealthy are. So today's episode, we are going to dive into not just how to buy back your time, but specifically where you should be buying back your time, how to calculate your hourly rate, all of the good things that will allow you to become more efficient so that you can make more money. Because we know that more money equals more freedom, doing shit that matters to you, and having more impact. Let's dive in. To the left, everything you own in a box to the left.
I think you sing better than Beyonce.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm just kidding. Please, Beyonce.
I also dropped 3 F-bombs in that cold open.
I'm getting back to my roots.
The coffee is settling in nicely.
You know.
Here we go. Friday fun babe.
I think I
Here
forgot
she comes.
who the fuck I was. No, I mean, I feel like I'm coming back online. It's really crazy. We've been obviously in a new environment. I think if you follow us or you have been following us for a while, you know that we have moved recently. We sold our house. We got our kids and packed everything up and got out of there. And just being in a different environment has completely transformed my mindset. It has allowed me to get back to who I am. And I feel like my fire is kind of coming back up. I feel like you almost don't realize how, I mean, we realized, but you almost don't realize how deflated you get sometimes. And then you start to fill back up and it's like, whoa, there I am. I feel like myself again and I feel creative again and I want to literally create new things. And yeah, I'm feeling really good. So Fiery Danielle says fuck a lot. Sorry, guys.
Here we go. But yeah, burnout looks different for everyone. And I think we were definitely in that. And you're right. Changing environment permanently and temporarily really helped. We obviously moved our home, but we've also taken 2 trips just to go see family in different parts of the U.S. And it's been nice to get away and not think about work or email or, and reconnecting with people and really kind of reflecting and having time to just think about like, what is important to us? What are we shooting for? We are burnout and stressed. What's the end goal here? Is this the rest of our life? I don't think so. And I think that was maybe a big aha moment that we came to recently was like, if I'm going to go through the stress of being an entrepreneur and owning multiple businesses and managing team and juggling time, and I know we'll talk about time management and how challenging that can be. What does success ultimately look like for me? Am I trying to become a billionaire? I don't think so. I think I can, just like I wrote off and came to terms that I'm never going to be a professional basketball player in the NBA a long time ago.
What? Why are we married?
I think I'm okay saying I don't aspire. If I create a company that eventually has some huge impact, and sure, I'm not going to say no to the universe. All right. But I think for us, time freedom is really where we came to. And it was like, if I can make a very comfortable living, if I can provide for my kids, we can do what we want, when we want, where we want, and with who we want. Whom? Who?
Whom?
Whom?
I think.
Whom?
Whom?
Wasn't that a scene in Friends? And then Ross is like, I don't know why I do that. But that's the ultimate goal. And like our son is now 4 and he's starting TK, which is, transitional from preschool to kindergarten. And he gets out at 2:00 every day. Oh, and Wednesday is a minimum day.
Yeah. What is that about?
I don't know. But we first looked at that and we were like,
Oh,
no, I work till 4:30, or 5. And how am I? And then I was like, no, I'm going to work and try to build systems and become more efficient so that I can be done by 2:00. How awesome would that be?
Yeah. And we say, like, if you are trading time for money, then your business is just a job that you designed. And like, I think we say that, but we kind of forgot to look at ourselves, and I think this happens a lot. Like you forget to reflect on your own experience when you're just in it because your head's down, you've got the blinders on. But yeah, we created a 9 to 5. Actually, like
prison.
A 4 a.m. to a 7 p.m. if you want to be honest about it.
Yeah, even worse than we should just go work a 9 to 5 because then we could just clock in and clock out. Just kidding. I didn't mean that.
I know.
But
you never can go backwards.
But the point is, we were so heads down, we were so focused that when we finally had a minute to pick our heads up, we kind of were like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What is all this for? And so I think today's episode is really timely because this is now how we are evaluating new decisions, life decisions. One being, does it help my goal of time freedom? A very simple question, yes or no. If it does not, we're not taking it on. We get asked all the time by clinics around the country, businesses around the country, to do services for them because I don't have time. And can you just build it for me? Can you do all of this for me? And before I said yes to everyone, and then I lost all my time, and then I got burnt out. And so it's like, yeah, technically I can. And I love helping businesses. That's not to say that I don't. But now as we get to this stage of our life, it just is not in alignment. And so I think that's really the core of like our happiness and energy is having that freedom and being able to say no. And it sucks because I could be making more money by doing these projects, but at what expense?
At what cost?
At what cost?
Exactly. It takes me back to my early days in practice. And I think that there's levels to this, right? As you scale in entrepreneurship, it's like you almost experience the same thing at a different level. And, in the early days, it was seeing patients. Well, before that, it was doing everything, wearing all the hats. And I'm sure if you're listening to this, you can relate to this, whether you're in it now or you've been in it before. You are answering the phones. You are scheduling people. You are, building the website yourself. I remember my first website was on Wix and I did it before you created our Squarespace one. You're
posting on social.
Yeah, posting on social. You are charging people, doing the checkout process. You're doing everything yourself. And then you finally make enough money and you're like, okay, first step, buying back my time. And this is a logical one. I think a lot of people figure this one out, once they hit some momentum and success in their business. But then you buy someone. I did not buy humans. You pay somebody to come in and do those tasks for you.
Equal exchange for work, which is legal in the United States. Yes.
But you pay somebody to do those administrative tasks, right? And so then you can start seeing more patients. But then all of a sudden, you kind of build this jail where you see all these patients. And if your kid gets sick, I remember, God, when Rusty was a baby, he would get sick. And I would wake up and I'd be sick myself, not with like illness, but just with anxiety because all I wanted to do was stay home with my sick kid and take care of him. I felt like I should. And then you would stay home with him because you were working from home at the time. And I would go in and I'd look at my schedule and I just wanted to cancel 30 patients because I just wanted to be home with my kid. But I knew I would be letting those 30 people down because they need their adjustment. And I knew that I would potentially lose thousands of dollars by canceling those people. And so it was just this really, really hard thing. I was like, okay, this isn't working. I got to buy back this time. I need this freedom, right? And fast forward to today, it's the same thing wearing a different hat, right? It's like, okay, well now the team needs me and they have questions and we have it, it's like you got to systematize and get things to a place where you can hand them off to other people. But I think this never goes away. It's just a matter of figuring out in each season how you can most efficiently buy back your time and strategically buy back your time because you can't necessarily do it all at once, nor is that a good idea. And I think we've tried this before, right? I remember last year or now it's been 2 years, time, got pregnant with Raya. And it was like, okay, well, I need somebody to come in and lead and I need somebody to handle this. And I hired too many people at once. And all of a sudden I felt like I had no control over my life or my business. And it was like, ooh, that was not good, right? Like whiplash. So how can we be effective and efficient and figure out where the most leverage is so that we can incrementally, or even in a big way, right? It doesn't have to be incremental, but we can buy back that time, make more money, get more leverage, buy more people to come in and help us. And eventually we get to a place where we find that balance, where we're making as much money as we want to, and we have the lifestyle we want to.
I think the term you're looking for is invest in more people,
Yes.
not buy more people.
I just collect my humans. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
My little worker bees.
Jokes aside, I feel like the team we have now is just like so good. I feel like we're at that sweet spot with team, and I love them so much, and I feel so grateful. So I hope for all of you that you can not buy people, but invest in people.
The right people. But what's interesting?
I bought them coffee this morning.
A quick side note.
Yep.
Is you get what you pay for.
Yes.
It's leverage. We just hired an office manager who is an absolute gem, rock star, but we had to increase the what would you call it?
The pay range.
The pay range, like what we were offering. And wouldn't you know it, someone with years of, clinic operations, sales, experience with this big bubbly personality. And it was just like, you're it. Of course you're it. You're perfect for what we're trying to build. She's excited. And yeah. So anyways, we're not going to get too much into like that today.
But I do think that's one important thing to note. When I was coached a few years ago, it was like spend as little as possible, right? Your margins, your profit margin. I don't care about your revenue, your profit margin. And like, trust me, I'm with it there. You want to have high profit, but not at the expense of good team members. I really think that what I've learned that nobody taught me through our experience is that you do get who you pay for, and if you want to invest little in your team, and I'm not just talking about the pay range. I'm talking about the way that you pour into them as well. You emotionally invest into them, the way you invest into their goals, their dreams, what they want for their future. Like as much as you're willing to put in, they're going to give you. So if you want A players, you cannot pay them $18 an hour, $20 an hour. We have part-time, exactly. How are they?
With no benefits.
How do you expect somebody to be invested in you, to choose you, to show up for you when you can't pour into them? So let's say that you do want to be strategic. You do want to be, smart about how you're spending your time. The first step is doing a time audit. And I think you and I both can kind of like cringe a little bit when we think about auditing our time, because I think there's a lot of time that we all spend doing things that are maybe not the most ideal. But auditing your time means literally having a notebook, a phone. If you want to be, super techie, you can get granola or fireflies and just talk to it so that you don't have to write things down. I don't know how efficient we need to be here. But anyways, write down, figure out how many hours every single day, how many minutes every single day you are doing anything that you're doing and everything that you're doing. Are you cooking a meal? Are you doing laundry? Are you, doing chart notes? Are you like spending time with your kids? And I don't say that because I want you to replace spending time with your kids, but hear me out. Okay. So we're going to document everything. Early on in practice, for example, I was spending a lot of time doing chart notes, which I think a lot of, if you're a chiropractor or a doctor listening to this, you can relate to. It's a huge time suck. So when I went to go hire one of my first people, I wanted to make sure that this CA could scribe for me and take that off of my plate. So that's why we're doing this, because we want to understand which tasks that we're doing are taking the most time.
But I think even one step before that, one of the early mistakes we made is that we had longer appointment times thinking that time equaled value. So you really looked at your schedule and were like, that was the first kind of audit you did. It was like, oh, how do I fit more people into this week? Well, I'm spending 30 minutes with people. Can I get the same results? Right. And you started asking yourself hard questions, I think. And that's kind of the exercise, right? Is like you need to document and really like reflect or, look at where your time is being spent and then kind of reflect of like, if it's a patient care or a business result or something, can I get the same result in less time?
Totally. Well, and at that time, I was greeting them. I was scheduling their appointments. I was checking them out. I was doing soft tissue work. We were talking about the weather. Everything was me, right? I wore every single hat. And so again, when we're kind of comparing that time to now, we don't do soft tissue anymore. But if we did, I could have a CA do that, right? I have my front desk who's able to check people in, check people out, make small talk with them, make them feel loved on and important. So there's a lot of things that can be offloaded. And that's the point. So we're doing this time audit. We want to understand where every minute of our day is being spent. And then we want to go through and we want to label that, right? So we're going to use 3 main buckets. The first bucket is only I can do this, right? If you're a solo practitioner in your office, only you can do the service that you do. Maybe you do eyelash extensions. Maybe you do chiropractic adjustments, whatever it is. Only you can do that service. Okay, cool. The second bucket is going to be delegate. This is something that somebody else could do as well as you, if not better. Okay, this is not your zone of genius. And I want to back up because sometimes it's not just like a licensed service that we're talking about. Let's say we're talking marketing. In the beginning, before you have people and tech systems trained, only you know why what you do is the shit, right? Like your magic sauce. So there's going to be a period of time or certain categories where it's like, maybe in the ideation phase of content creation, that really requires me because somebody else trying to put my brain and my magic sauce on this marketing, they just don't quite get it yet. So those are the kind of things that I'm talking about, right? It really requires your brain, your expertise, or maybe your license, right? And then we have the get rid of this shit bucket, okay? This is stuff that we are wasting our time doing. And I want you to be honest with yourself here because I think there's a lot of stuff that we do that can help us decompress, that can help us regulate, that can help us feel human, right? Connect with people, find joy in our life. And there are some things that maybe we say are doing those things, but really are just like stalling or wasting time or putting us in a negative headspace. So some of those examples for me personally, we're watching Netflix at night. We're scrolling Instagram. Not to say that I never do these things anymore, but I was honest when I did my time audit, looking at how much time I was spending at the end of a day zoning out on Netflix while also scrolling my phone and wondering why my brain was going. I couldn't fall asleep and I was in a negative headspace. Well, no shit, right? I had just consumed a bunch of whatever, who knows what we were watching at the time, murder documentaries, I think. With like blue light flashing into my eyeballs, comparing myself to people on Instagram.
Getting stressed out about, Ted Bundy.
It's a recipe. I know. I'm like, can you go check, make sure the front door's locked? But it's like a recipe for stress, right? And so if I'm honest, spending that hour and a half, 2 hours a night, whatever it was at the time, was not a productive thing for my life or for my happiness. And it's not just about being productive. I want to be clear. It's about contributing positively to our life. Okay. So step 1. What's step 1, Kyle? Time audit.
Time audit.
Step 2.
Things only you can do.
Well, that's one of the things in step 2. Step 2 is label it. All the things that you've listed out, we're now going to label. So buckets are
time audit.
No, that's step 1. Okay,
things only you can do.
Yep.
Things you can cut out completely.
Yep.
And things you can delegate.
Yes. Okay, so that's step 2. Now, the trick is figuring out how much money you make per hour so that we can understand if that delegate step really makes sense, right? So how the heck would we figure out how much we make per hour when we have a business that we wear a million hats doing?
Well, it's not just the time you're actually delivering the service. You're
Right.
also factoring in time you're working on the business.
Ding, ding, ding.
The Sunday night, the Friday afternoon
Right.
in preparation, the reports early in the morning. I think you and I are probably the only ones that get up early. But
Can you do us a favor and DM us if you wake up early like we do? I feel like we're on an island, but there have to be people in our camp.
I hope so. We talk about the benefits of it. I know it's
We
hard.
need to start like a 5 a.m. club so that we could get more members. DM,
and do
please.
what? And do what?
I don't know.
5 a.m. coffee networking?
Yeah, why not? I was going to say celebrate each other, but just high five,
We're all half awake.
I'm very awake at 4 and 5 a.m.
That's true.
I'm just sitting there staring at you like, wake up.
Get up.
I got coffee for you.
Let's journal together and dream about our life.
Come talk to me.
I'll go to bed. I'm tired.
Okay. So exactly. We are calculating all of the money. We're calculating all the money. But no, we're calculating all of the hours we're working.
In the business and on the business.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And so it's more than 40 hours. It's more than 30 hours or whenever you're with patients.
Yeah. Or exactly. If you have a brick and mortar, it's more than the hours that you are spending in that building doing the thing that you do. It's all the time that you're working on it. So let's say that we work 40 hours a week. Okay. And that we make $40,000 a week. A month. Math. I don't know that I can do this right now.
You don't have your phone in front of you.
I don't have my phone in front of me.
50 hours a week. Let's use round numbers. 50 hours a week times 4 weeks in a month is 200 hours a month. And let's say you make $20,000 a month in revenue.
Yep.
So that is
$200 an hour?
100.
No. $100 an hour?
$100 an hour.
Okay. Man, math.
200 has 2 zeros and then 100 has 2 zeros. So I think you just go 2 and then 4 zeros, which is 20,000. Yeah.
What's weird is that if I can't see it, this type of math does not work in my brain. So
So let's say 200 hours in a month.
Yep.
That worked. You make 20,000 in revenue a month. Your hourly rate is $100 an hour.
Cool. So $100 an hour. So now we know some basic math that if we can work somehow magically, we add more time to our week, we add 10 hours a week, we're making an extra $1,000. So we have a very clear understanding of what our contribution equals in the business, right? Maybe you do this over time so that you have a better average because you might tell me, oh, well, some weeks I work 50 hours and some weeks I don't care. Find an average, figure out in general what you make per hour. $100 per hour. Now I can start looking at my tasks on my list, right? I know that the tasks that only I can do that generate revenue, like those aren't going anywhere, so I don't need to worry about those. So we look at our list and we look at those tasks that we can delegate. Now all of a sudden, I have a really clear understanding of how much money I could be gaining or losing by doing that task myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's say that I'm cleaning my house for 3 hours a week. Can I find somebody to clean my house for less than $300? Because if I can, then all of a sudden me cleaning my house for those 3 hours is 3 hours less that I could potentially be working and making that $300, right? And I can tell you personally, we found a house cleaner who's absolutely amazing, who cleans our house in less time, does it better than I do, or better than I would, and she's $130. So now all of a sudden I just got $170 back if I spent those 3 hours working on my business.
Yep.
Get the idea? So we want to find those tasks that we can delegate. And again, admin tasks, right? If I can open up 2 hours on my schedule each day because I'm not scheduling people, I'm not, responding to emails, I'm not doing all the things that a front desk person would. Now all of a sudden I can see, let's say 12 more patients. Let's say I do a 10-minute adjustment. 12 more patients times $60 in adjustment is $720 I just got back. How much do I pay a front desk person for 8 hours of work? It's less than $720, right? You might find things that you look at on your delegate list that you're like, I would love to hand this off to someone. I don't think I do it the best. Designing a website, right? There's probably an amount of time where paying $5,000 to $20,000 for a website doesn't really make sense for us. Right? I'm going to spend my time because maybe I have more time than money at that point. So we get to have a more objective understanding of what our time is worth and what the tasks that we're doing cost. And if you can pay somebody less than your hourly rate, especially if it's significantly less, then you should be delegating that task. And I bet you, I would bet anybody listening right now, $100 that you could find at least 5 hours a week that you can give tasks away that you should not be doing. And that those 5 hours times your hourly rate, which I bet is more than $100, could be spent to, I don't know, go on a vacation, pick up a new hobby, hang out with your kids.
Play pickleball.
I really want to play pickleball.
Okay, but here's something that I don't think we should gloss over is you're right. It's like the decision-making process of I get time back and therefore I have to balance profitability and all of that.
Totally.
But also there's a relationship here between your capacity and kind of that decision-making process. If you don't have the ability to generate new patients and fill that empty space now that's on your calendar, then you won't see an ROI. So in a way, capacity, if we want to invest that back into patient, let's say we want to see more patients, more clients, or whatever it is that you do to ultimately make more money, we also need to balance these systems to make sure that we get new people on the books.
1,000%.
So we have to factor that in. And that's one of the challenges we've had and some of our clients have had in a few different capacities. One is doing home visits. So she's on the road. And so marketing falls by the wayside, but then also she doesn't have room on the calendar because she's driving, a 1 hour appointment. It's taking her 3 hours door to door.
Right.
And it's like, but you're only charging an extra $50 for a home visit. That does not pencil.
Mm-hmm.
That you're losing money on this, even though you think you're making $150 instead of $75 if they came to you, you're actually losing money.
Right. If you had gotten patients in during those time blocks instead of driving, you would make more.
Right.
Yeah.
So cut that, focus on marketing, and then just, right? Another one, I don't want to say trap, but a challenge for parents is childcare.
Yep.
Because you're juggling all the things. Now you're juggling childcare. So you're spending a Wednesday or a Thursday watching your kid while, other days you're in office. It's like, okay, if my hourly rate is $100, could I find childcare for $25 an hour to watch someone even part-time for my kid so that I could fill that with more money? And oftentimes the answer is yes. Obviously every family and every situation is a little unique and different, but these are real life examples.
Totally.
That, obviously one is business, one is, a blend of business and family, but we have had to overcome as well. And our clients are actively.
But I think that's the thing is like, there is no clear distinction when you're in business for yourself, especially if you're like us and both spouses are in business together. It's like your family decisions are your business decisions and your business decisions are your family decisions. And I think back to that example when we were first starting Verve, you weren't in the business yet full time, but you were working corporate. And we decided to get a nanny to help us with childcare, even though we could have, figured it out. And maybe there was like the part of us, and we hear this from clients all the time, it's like the guilt of like, I should be with my kids. And holy shit, getting that nanny and being able to focus fully on work and not be like stressed about work when we were with our kid and not be with our kid full time, honestly, because that's fucking hard too. Like the time that we were with Rusty was so good and so sweet, and we were so grateful for it, versus the time that you were on parental leave and I had a coverage doc. Like that was actually really stressful, So you just have to find what works for your family. But I think, like I said in the beginning of this episode, there are levels to this shit, right? In the beginning, you're going to have more time than money. And so your hourly rate is going to be lower, right? Because maybe your business isn't generating as much. It doesn't make sense to delegate as much then. But then when you start getting busier, you have to constantly reevaluate and go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, where am I spending my time? Because we did this at that point. Mm-hmm. We hired the nanny. We had somebody help us with meal prep. In fact, we had our nanny helping us with meal prep. So we were paying her $25 an hour to take care of our child and to do our cooking. We started using grocery delivery services instead of grocery shopping ourselves. We found a laundry service. I mean, we did a lot of stuff at home. We got a house cleaner. We obviously hired people in our clinics to start doing the administrative things. We tried hiring out marketing, which is why we created our own marketing company, teaching people how to do it, because that didn't work well for us. But we've done these things. And now all of a sudden we're in this new season and it's like, oh shit, I'm right back in that 9-to-5 trap, right?
Yep.
So I think it's really important that you don't assume that you've done it once and so you never have to do it again. But yeah, there's going to be a time where you're doing more stuff at home. Like doing those things at home doesn't make sense anymore. There's going to be a time where you're focusing more of your effort in your business and you're hiring people to help you with the business part of things. And there's going to be a time when you reinvest your money into people who can help you make more money. And there's going to be a time when you invest that extra money and the resources that you're making on buying back your time on being with your kids, being with your family, doing fun shit, So it's like you just have to figure out what level you're at, what your priorities are, what's important to you. And I think the whole point of this episode is like, you have to figure that out first for any of this to work. So I would invite you to really look at your every day, every week, weekends too, if you're spending time working.
Be ruthless.
Ruthless about what you are spending your time on. And be honest about what's contributing positively to your life and what's not. Figure out what only you can do, what you can delegate, and what needs to go. Figure out your hourly rate and then buy back your time. If you are not making as much money as you want to, if you are feeling stressed and burnt out, if you are not living the life that feels aligned with your goals and your vision, you got to do this time audit and you got to buy back your time.
And I think a misconception is that this is expensive to buy back my time. I have to hire a person full time to do this. And it's like, there's levels to this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Stair step your way. Start with something small, get your time back, get more revenue coming in, then go the next thing, and the next thing. Then before you look at it, you'll look back and say, business runs, it's systematized, it runs without me. My team knows what to do. I have team at home. I have a landscaper. I have the laundry service. I have the house cleaner. I have the nanny, and she helps with food prep. And you're like, I get to spend my weekends with my kids instead of cleaning the house and doing laundry and mowing the lawn and all this other stuff. Like, yeah, that's what's important to me right now at this stage of life. So I hope, this was helpful. And it all ties back to, what do you ultimately want? What do you want your life to look like?
All right, friends. We'll see you next week.
See ya.